channel. My name is Ashley. If you are new here, but I'm sure most of you are repeat viewers at this point. So recently I've been getting a ton of questions on how I got involved in the Bassnectar community, so I thought it would be fun to do kind of a story time on how I got involved with the Bassnectar community and how I got hooked and joined the cult, if you will. I'm sure a lot of you that are watching this are really intrigued by the Bassnectar community and want to know how to get more involved in it. The Bassnectar community can definitely be really intimidating because there's so much to learn. Some of it almost seems like tales or legends from a distant past that you'll never really fully get caught up on, and to an extent that is true. So much of it goes undocumented and are just stories of times that you really have no proof of, and there's just so many people that have been part of the community for so long. There's just so many stories to hear, but it is definitely possible to learn a lot when you put the effort in. So I'm going to do a follow-up video to this eventually on how to get more involved and how to learn about all those iconic moments that you might have missed and songs that people want that you can't seem to find online. And I'll kind of give you tips on how to dive deeper into the community and learn about what everyone else is talking about, because it's definitely foreign and overwhelming at first. And it seems like you'll never really learn everything, which you won't, but you can learn a good chunk of it. But for now, today's video, like I said, is going to be a story time on how I got involved in the first place. The story of how I discovered Bassnectar and how I got to where I am today. And I am by no means the biggest fan. To some people, I am like an endless book of knowledge in their eyes, and in other people, I don't know shit compared to other people. Like, I promise there's people that know way more than me, so I don't want to come across like I think I know everything. I definitely am mildly obsessed. Hopefully I can give some of you guys some knowledge and stuff. But while I told the story, I thought it would be fun to do some makeup. Now, do not be scared. Like I said, guys, I'm not going to be talking about the makeup as I'm doing it. I'm right now going to give a quick synopsis of some of the stuff I might be trying. I just stopped at Ulta and I want to try some affordable makeup. So I got this Real Techniques brush for powder. I got two of these Juvia's Place foundation sticks. They're multi-purpose foundation sticks. This is a great brand because it has so many different options for people of different skin tones, especially skewing towards the darker side. There's so many options, so I thought it would be fun to try. I'm obviously extremely pale right now, but I just think it's cool to support a brand that is inclusive. I'm not going to be able to use all of this stuff because I got the hyaluronic tinted moisturizer from ColourPop, so I have to choose one or the other from those. I got the blush sticks from ColourPop. I really wanted that pinky color that Kylie Jenner's been all about, but it's sold out. I got the light sticks, which is a highlighter. As you can see, I went for a bunch of cream stuff today. I got the Juvia's Place concealer in Magic Concealer 20. Woo! I cannot believe this. All this stuff was like $100, which I was hoping to spend around 100. I spent 125, so this really wasn't bad. I got the Brow Boss Gel ColourPop in the shade Soft Black. I got the Morphe Bake and Set setting powder in the shade Brightening Pink, another Kylie trend I've been wanting to try. I got the ColourPop Lippy Pencil in Oh Snap. And then I got the NYX Epic Ink Liner in Brown. Holy crap. You know when you just want to feel like you're really rich and buy a huge haul of things, but you can never afford it? So anyway, sorry to all you dudes, I'm done talking about makeup now. You can just close out the video now and just listen, because now I'm going to be doing my makeup. So if you've listened to some of my other chatty videos, you might know that I was not the biggest Bassnectar fan at first. There's a lot of people that join the Nectar community that are hooked after one set, but I was not one of those people. I'm not gonna lie and say that I was. So I first heard Bassnectar when I was in high school. So in 2010, there was definitely a electronic music boom, and in my high school a lot of people started listening to EDM, specifically dubstep, so I was definitely a fan of certain songs and I was really limited in what I could find. But a couple of those songs that were on that classic playlist that we always listen to were Basshead and then Light's Bassnectar remix. I'm shocking myself, but I think I'm gonna go with the ColourPop Pretty Fresh. tinted moisturizer, but I don't want heavy makeup right now, and the Juvia's Place stuff I heard is really heavy. So at the time I was definitely into more true dubstep and not like the spacey kind of dubstep, I guess you could call what Bassnectar plays. So I remember looking for music and having a really hard time in general finding music. No DJs had full albums then, it was straight EPs, and I didn't know that things like SoundCloud existed. So I remember having a really hard time kind of falling out of EDM just because I like couldn't find anything that I liked. But I remember going through iTunes, and I like have a vision of one specific night of my life, like diving through iTunes and thinking of every DJ that I knew and like listening to all the songs and all the previews of the songs and being like, I don't really like anything other than the stuff I already know. You could definitely say I was not that big of a Nectar fan. And then in college I remember always wanting to find EDM concerts to go to and like constantly being on the lookout for potential shows to go to. And I remember looking into going to one at the Sangha Center in Lowell, but skipping out. Like I said, I wasn't that big of a fan of any DJs. I really liked Skrillex, but even him, like when Recess came out, I couldn't listen to it front to back. Any artist that came into town, I was just going because I recognized the name of the DJ, not because I was like that big of a fan of any of them. So a lot of them I didn't end up going to because I wasn't that passionate about going, because I only knew a few songs of pretty much every DJ besides Skrillex. I knew a little bit more. So fast forward, I end up going to EDC in New York. I just kind of bopped around. I didn't even stay for any full sets, I don't think. I feel like the only full set I remember seeing is like Calvin Harris, maybe Cruella. That was in 2014, and then in 2015 I went to my first Electric Forest. And I remember being like, oh yeah, this is my second Nectar set, because I went back and looked to see who was playing at EDC New York, and I saw that he was on the lineup. So in my head I'm like, oh yeah, this is my second Nectar set. In reality, I don't know if I went to that Nectar set, so now I don't count that as my first set. I took that one off the list, but the point is, I went to a festival and didn't even make a point to see Nectar. I had no idea. He was just another name like on the list for me. Then in 2015, like I said, I went to Forest. At this point, I was completely out of the EDM world because I still just didn't know how to find new music. I was just going because I thought the event would be fun, and I knew I liked the music, but yeah, I didn't even barely know Plume. I only knew who Big Gigantic was because I remember older people from my high school posting about Big Gigantic, but didn't really listen to any of these people. I actually am going to use the Juvia's Place darker shade so I can contour, but at this point, it's my first Forest, and I don't know who he is to the point that I thought that all the bass drops around were the Insomniac old symbol. I also remember talking to someone that really liked Nectar, and him talking about if Nectar was walking around, and me being like, oh, would people know if he's around? And he was like, yeah, he has really fucking long hair. Everyone's gonna know if he's walking around. I was like, would people even recognize him if he's walking around? People don't really know what DJs look like. He was like, yeah, I like literally had no idea that people like even loved him still. And I remember everyone being really, some of the people in my group being extremely excited for this and for this set and being like, what's the difference? Like I was excited because Skrillex was gonna be there. Skrillex was Friday night, Nectar was Saturday night, and I was like, why is everyone freaking out about Nectar? Like it's gonna be cool, but like, how cool is it really going to be? I'm excited for Skrillex. I remember having fun at the set, just kind of being like, what's the hype? Like, why are you all freaking out? It wasn't that good. Like, I had just as much fun, if not more fun, at Skrillex. In reality, that was one of the most fun sets of the weekend, but because everyone was hyping up, I'm like, why is everyone freaking out? I was just kind of in that mindset of like, it was good, but because you guys are all freaking out, it's making me think it wasn't as good as it actually was. Because I was like, you guys all need to calm down. After my first Forest in 2015, between 2015 and 2016, Electric Forest announced that Nectar was going to be a resident. I was at a point where I understood like what a wook was. I actually didn't even know what that word was yet, but I understood that the Nectar fans were definitely different than the like Skrillex type fans, and I thought that they were kind of scary. So I was like, no, now that all these like kind of scary EDM people are going to be at Forest every year, like I do not want Nectar to be a resident. A little bit of a hater, not an intense hater, but definitely a little bit, and I'm gonna admit it. So then I went to my second Forest 2016, and this year I went with a lot of new people. Part of our Forest fam to this day, we have like a couple groups within our group, and one of these mini groups is this group of kids from Albany, and they're all like friends from home and stuff. And these Albany kids came in and they were all obsessed with Nectar. This was around the time that Unlimited came out. I remember getting excited about the song TKO, but being like, I don't know, like I just don't really get it. This is not like my kind of EDM necessarily. Now that I was part of this group that was so excited, instead of watching other people get so excited from like the outside, because my group was so small the first year, it was pretty much me just seeing all the other wokes being really excited and not really getting it. This time I kind of got to see the inside of what it's like to be really excited about Nectar. So this was the first time I saw like the community, and I remember just thinking it was really cool how excited everyone was and wishing that I could be as excited as they were, but really only caring about TKO, Basshead, and Lights still. I still obviously knew it was going to be fun because I went the year before, but I just like still didn't get it. But my heart definitely started warming up to the community and stuff, and not just seeing them as a bunch of wooks anymore. Like, I've always just been a huge team player and someone that really values community. So seeing the community built around it from the inside was really cool for me, and I started to be more intrigued about the whole thing. And that set was really fun, and I kind of started to get it more. So that was my second set. I want to say that I still said I didn't get it, but I was hooked enough that I wanted to go to EZU that year. I went to school in New York City, so it was a really easy send. And I convinced one of my friends to go with me and stay with me that weekend. So now it's the end of summer 2016, and I went to Electric Zoo, New York, and this was the set where I kind of had a turning point with the actual music and being like, okay, that was really fucking fun. I met up with one of my friends, Chris, in the Albany crew, and hung out with some of his other friends that I hadn't met before. I remember looking up in him doing one of those like mid-set political like rant things. It's not a rant, but like you guys know what I mean. If you like Nectar, those like political messages in the middle of the show. It was Donald Trump with flames in his eyes, and it was during the election year right before Trump got elected, so it was really powerful to me because I really didn't want Trump to win. I remember just thinking that was so badass. Within the celebrity world, and even like making videos like this, you're not supposed to say what your political beliefs are because you're gonna make half the people watching mad, but I just thought it was really cool that he doesn't care, and he cares more about his art and his message, and art is all about spreading this message, whatever you want it to be. He cares so much about his art and spreading the message that he believes in, that he doesn't care about being the most likable guy to the masses, and hopefully even maybe being able to change some people's minds. So that's why I kind of left being like, okay, I get it. But I still was not fully there yet. So I didn't see him now at this point for another full year. That spring I ended up studying abroad in Australia, and I remember like I kept saying that I finally get it with Nectar, but like I said, I still didn't see him for almost a full year. I didn't see him again until Forest, and I went to study abroad at that time. Nectar was going to be in New England. This is literally like the last time he's even been in New England to this day for -0. And I just remember being upset that my friends were going to all be at a festival without me, and not even really being that phased in hindsight about Nectar being close and me missing it. More just so like my friends were hanging out, so like I couldn't have been that obsessed yet. So now it's summer, I'm back from studying abroad, and it is time for me to go to Forest again. At this point, I still didn't listen to Nectar like at all. I really still only cared about the song TKO. I was just all about the community and the environment and like having fun and living in the moment at the sets. I just loved how high energy it was at the sets, and like being part of a group that was so excited for something. But yeah, I totally did not listen to Nectar at home pretty much at all. I actually almost ended up going to Basscenter that year, but I almost went with the group of kids from Albany, and I like wasn't at a point where I really felt comfortable going away with them because they were like all friends from home, like I said, and I was like not in there with them, so I ended up not going just like out of like social anxiety, I guess. In my head, this is like kind of when I started becoming obsessed, but I definitely still didn't know completely what was going on with curated events and stuff, so how obsessed could I have really been? Because I'm pretty sure like Bass Lights was still happening at this point in time. I think Bassnectar City was happening at this point in time, and I just had no idea that this shit was going down. Like I said, I didn't end up going, but we were at that time planning to go to New Year's Eve. So we went to Bassnectar New Year's Eve 2017 into 2018. I remember still like explaining to people like I don't know what any of these songs are that you guys are so excited for. I'm just here for a good time, not a long time, you know. Then after that, at this point I have graduated college. I graduated in the winter, so right before I went to this event. When I was done, I had a ton of free time. At this point, I knew I was moving to LA. I was planning a trip to Asia in March, right before I moved. So I had a ton of free time. All my friends had already graduated because I transferred schools. I was a little bit behind my friends. I was one semester behind. So I had time to motherfucking kill at home. All my friends moved into the city, into Boston, and I had fucking nothing to do. I was just living up the townie life with a bunch of other kids that hadn't moved out. I was just motherfucking bored, and I remember getting really into Teleport Massive because he played that on New Year's Eve and being like, wow, I wish I had known the words when he played it. This actually is kind of a fire song. Still hate myself for that. I remember listening to that like legitimately non-stop. Then I went on my little trip to Asia in March for a month, right before I moved to LA at the very end of April. And at this point, I was ready to understand. I was like, by the time I go to Electric Forest this year, I'm not gonna be missing a song. I'm not gonna have one of these Teleport Massive moments where everyone's singing all the words and then right after I realize how good the song is. Like, I'm done. I need to know what everyone's talking about. I officially like his music. I officially listening at home. Like, I got him now. So that's when I started diving in to the depths of the internet, because when I got home from Asia, I had like 3 weeks before I moved to LA, and I didn't have a job for those 3 weeks. So I was fucking bored and like spiraling about the fact that I was deciding to move to LA and like second guessing all my choices. So I needed something to do with my time to keep me from thinking about my own life. So I used this time to like just learn as much as I possibly could. Those 3 weeks is where I learned like 90% of the knowledge I have now about Nectar, besides the stuff I've experienced personally. That's where I dove into the music and like things that have happened before and iconic moments that have happened before I like really got into it. Honestly, after that, the rest is motherfucking history, man. Just made a playlist where I like listened to him non-stop, and now I like just continue to make sure that I like stay up to date with what's going on the Facebook groups and stuff. But like I said, I'm going to be doing like a whole video on how I learned all that stuff pretty much in those 3 weeks and continue to stay up to date with everything. Definitely subscribe if you're looking for that information of how I like got involved and now kind of know as much as I do know. Learning about Nectar, you kind of have to be committed. That's why there's so many people out there that are like kind of weird about like knowing so much, because you have to really care to get all the knowledge and fully dive in and like legitimately study to get to know everything. I'm not someone that really cares about being the person that knows everything, so like I said, there's still so much more that I could learn that I haven't learned yet. Now I am completely obsessed. I listen to his music all the time. More than anything, this all roots, like I said, from how it started with me being obsessed with the community and just like being part of something that we all like are so passionate about is really the best part. The music is awesome, and I definitely love the music, and when I listen to his music, I can only imagine that how I feel when I listen to his music is like what crack is like. Like, I can feel energy pumping through my veins, my blood. It's so hard to explain. But I get some sort of crackhead energy when I'm listening to his music in the best way possible. I'm so thankful for that, and I'm so thankful for his music more than anything. It's just so much fun going to the events together and getting so excited with all your friends and having this like crazy online community. And obviously, I just love that each one of his sets is completely different and all that. That's why everyone loves him. Hopefully this video wasn't crazy long and I can cut that down a little bit. Hopefully that was at least a little bit entertaining for you to listen to the story of how I got involved with the Nectar community slowly and steadily. Like I said, there's some people that are obsessed from the get-go, but I was not one of those people. So if you're not one of those people, there's still hope for you. Please subscribe if you want to see a bunch of other videos all about Nectar and festivals and all that good stuff. And I will be doing a follow-up video where I will tell you guys the best ways to learn about Nectar and how to find all the secret songs and all that stuff that everyone talks about that is just so overwhelming. to dive into. Thank you so much for watching. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter for all the daily stuff, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!